Hey everyone, to follow up on the Ephraim deck analysis we recently covered, I'm going to commentate again using that same deck. My opponent will be Seliph. One last thing before we begin. All the info for each player, such as the number of cards in hand and orbs, can be found here. Now let's get started. Alright, I won the die roll, so I go first. Since I know I am going in a more aggressive matchup, I prefer to save the avoids in my hand. Generally, you don't want to be bonding avoids anyway, and I like to save the Erica 1 in case I choose to deploy it. So I bond Kanas and Saint Zephyr since I have the avoids to play more aggressive this game. End of turn. And now it's Seliph's turn. He draws, bonds a leaf, and he deploys Sigurd in the back, tapping him and using his skill. Hits me for a 50 and I take an orb. He also draws at the end of this turn with Sigurd's skill. Turn 2. Actually, looking back on this, I should have bonded Erica instead, since Myr has the potential to be a base 60 on turn 3 and synergizes better with Zephyr as well. I would choose to bridge to hit past his buff and save myself from being hit too much as well. I attack and support Lilina. Nice. This means he either takes the hit and gives me a free draw or avoids. He will avoid this of course, which is fine with me. Seliph's turn. Larcene Bond, whose bond skill should be kept in mind, or later. Seliph also promotes on turn 2. Similar to Ephraim, this promotion basically makes him a base 70 if the conditions are met, so he can stay on it for the game. It's the main promotion of the deck, and you'll see why later. Seliph attacks and I support an Erica, which means this is now a base 40 support, which would normally make a miss, but he will use Larcene the Bonds to critical hit that attack, so I take that hit. Turn 3. Since I have no real other plays other than promoting this turn, I will do that. I draw a Myr, which may help later combine with Zephyr. I swing and I hit. His turn. He deploys a Julia, activating her skill which swaps out a bond for Seliph 5. Triggering his skill to unflip a bond. Next, Daedra is deployed to swap in Teen, activating her skill to draw a card. Now, that all may have been a lot to take in, but basically Daedra and Julia are played to use skills that only trigger in the bonds. Seliph is now set up for 3 attacks this turn. Seliph lands his hit, so I'll take an orb. Next, Daedra attacks, but I support another Erica, making Daedra unable to land a critical hit, since now I am too high for her to reach that number, even if she doubles it. And Julia supports badly too, so I only got hit 1 out of 3 times, which was a great turn for me. Turn 4. This is the most impactful turn, so you have to make it count. Unfortunately, I do not have the right cards to optimize Kanas, so I will choose to deploy Zephyr instead, thanks to Ephraim's deploy reduction skill. As I stated previously, since I have a decent amount of voids in hand, I can afford to be more aggressive. I use Zephyr's Hardmode skill and discard the Daedra, which destroys her in the field as well. Very nice. I swing with Zephyr, supporting an Eliwood so I move Julia up, though it has no real impact currently. Then I attack with Ephraim, triggering another Lilina. This time, Seliph does not have that avoid, so I'll get that free card. Purple support's really coming through this game. This is likely Seliph's last turn, so he should go for game here. He bonds a Teen and draws again with her skill. Asvel, Daedra, and Sigurd are deployed. And again she sets up her bond refresh with Seliph, giving him his setup again with Larcene. He's going to go for 4 hits here. He buffs himself with Sigurd, making him a base 80 until the end of my turn again. He swings with Seliph, hits me, putting me at 1 orb. Same with Julia, using Larcene's skill for a crit to hit me. Now he'll use his main skill to unflip that Larcene he just used to continue focusing me. And that's the main strategy of this deck. He does the same with Daedra, critting me with Larcey and forcing out my evades now. And he goes for his final attack with Asvel, critting from hand. Unfortunately for him, I had enough evades in hand as you can see, so I will live this turn. Turn 5, now I go for game. I will bond, then deploy Kanas and Myrrh. I use Zephiel's skill to buff Myrrh and discard a card from his hand again. And it's a sell-up, so he will take an ore for this. And I go for game here with 4 attacks as well. I also use Kanas' skill to stack 2 Lilinas. Kanas is also a base 80 this turn, so it will ensure his hit as well. An extra card I may not need, but free cards are nice. And that is game. Ephraim takes his game by turn 5. Pretty fast, yeah? Now, if I hadn't discarded a sell-up, he may have actually lived this turn, and I would have lost. If I wanted to play safer, I could have opted to clear field with Kanas and Lilina and move Ephraim back to survive another turn. But the way it played out, I was able to secure this win. So it wasn't necessarily a misplay. Whether you go aggressive or not completely depends on their hand. So you can be the judge of that. It's basically a coin flip situation. And that's it for this game analysis. Let us know if these are useful. I'd like to give credit to the Fire Emblem Cypher wiki for these little description boxes that I've been using. Link will be in the description below. Make sure to check it out when you get the chance. If you'd like to know what we're up to, follow us on Twitter. If you like more sample deck lists such as this one, check out the Cypher Fair spreadsheet. I will also provide links to the deck list from this video in the description. And again, if you are interested in learning Fire Emblem Cypher, make sure to join the Fire Emblem Cypher Discord. See ya!